about the finance side. So let me do the presentation and I'll present the screen to you all. So everybody can see the screen, right? Yeah. So what I have shown you is a family setup where grandparents are there, husband and wife is there, and two children are there. Now in this picture we can see that it's a very happy family. Okay. So the grandparents have made this house, beautiful house, and they have made wealth enough. So this husband is there, whose name is Puneet, and Ira is also uh, there, who is a wife. Okay, so this husband Puneet works in MNC and goes and takes care of children also when he is at work. And Ira is a school teacher. Okay, and she manages house and teaching job both. Why? Because grandparents are there. So in this happy family, even I had my father passed away in 2019, and he had Parkinson's. My mother-in-law also passed away with cancer in 2020 COVID times. So these things keep happening to us because uh, death and illness are two parts of our life, which cannot be altered or changed in anybody's life. So what you can see is, mother passes away, in the picture, like she had a heart issue and all that stuff. And with time, the father also passes away. So the whole setup of this family has gone for a toss now. What she could do, manage from home, she could not do. So what I'm trying to show is, in real life, these things keep on happening with us. We see all the time. Okay, so the causes of depression and anxiety are, one is internal cause and one is external cause. Internal cause means something. Am I good with English or Hindi? What do you want? I can speak both.
Yeah, mixed is fine.
Okay. So what is internal cause? जो हम लोग खुद अंदर feel करते हैं. Okay. When we feel something, it could be also because of external cause. It could be also because of emotion, things happening in our life. So I'll be concentrating on the external cause and not on the internal cause. So when does the external cause of anxiety start? Okay, when business loss happens. So I also closed my business in 2017. I had a manufacturing unit, gold jewelry unit. I'm a goldsmith, and I went through losses and I had a business loss, and I went through 1 year of anxiety. Okay, then loss of property, which means doesn't mean that earthquake. It also means when children fight over property, disputes are there. Money because of the property, and again these are the causes. Health issues in the family, which takes away a lot of money out of your pocket, bank accounts, jewelry, and things like that. So these all the causes of, and sometimes it is relationship. When we lose somebody, or even when the teens, when they are out of a relationship, they go through a mental stress, trauma, and all these things. And even we sometimes we fall, friendship falls apart. Of 10, 20, 20 years old friendship falls apart, and these cause a lot of stress in our own life. Okay, so how managing money can lead to better mental well-being. Okay, तो ऐसे बहुत सारे चीजें हम लोग कर सकते हैं जिसके वजह से हम लोग को कम से कम पैसे के कारण तो हम लोग को ये सब नहीं हो सके. Okay, but in India people don't give weightage to this. Okay, have you all read about this person? Have you read anybody read this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad? I want to know from the audience. Anybody read this book, Rich Dad or Poor Dad?
I have some time back.
Okay. Just tell me what is a small understanding of the main topic of the book.
It's been a while though.
Okay. So I'll explain to you. He didn't have two dads. Okay. He had one dad only. Okay. But his dad was what he called the poor dad. Why? Because he said, my dad said, ki, do not venture out. Do not do things which will, cause you into trouble. अपने बोलते ना अपनी चादर पैर उतने ही फैलाओ जितने तो चादर हो. Okay. Don't overdo things and work for somebody. Work for an MNC company. While as the rich dad taught him the ways how to become rich. Okay, he said, do not work for companies, and you should build assets. So this whole thing is about he taught from the rich dad, which was a friend's dad. Okay, whom he calls the rich dad. So he follows the rich dad, and he follows the principle of passive income. Okay, so anybody knows what is active income and passive income? We all know, I think majorly we are somewhere known about what is passive income and what is active income. Okay.
So where we are actively involved in earning, passive is where you invest generally,
Yes.
not your time, but yeah, your money.
Yes, not your time, not your energy, nothing. Okay. Where money is working for you, that is called passive income. Okay. So what does he teach? He teaches that poor people live on active income, and we all people in India are living like that. I asked some people, do you want to retire? Well, then, नहीं मेरे को retire नहीं करना है. I want to retire. I want to work lifetime. Okay, I've heard this. Okay, some people, the young people say that I want to work only till the age of 45, but they are not working on the passive income, and they just want to say ऐसे कि मेरे को 45 तक ही work करना है और बाद में मेरे को retire होने का है. How will you retire if you have not made passive income? So he teaches that poor people live on active income and the rich people live on passive income. तभी तो लोग golf खेलने जाते हैं. If you see the Westerners, they play golf after a particular age because they don't care. Money पैसा आ रहा है. That's how they can stay in Goa for 6 months, 1 year, 3 years also. No Indian can stay in Goa for 6 months and 1 year. Even if he's the richest person, then also he can't stay because he has not made a system where passive income comes to his and he doesn't have to go to office. उसने कभी भी वो करता ही नहीं कर ही नहीं पाता है. So this is part of the Asian culture that they don't think that passive income is important. They say कि मेरे को retire करना है, but there is no planning. Okay. So he says most people want to get rich quick, and that's why they never get rich. This is Robert Kiyosaki saying that. What is he saying? What is he trying to say? He says that हम लोग जब भी काम करने चालू करते हैं, हम लोग फर्स्ट सैलरी का जो 10% है, जो हमारे कोई भी इन्वेस्टमेंट में जाना चाहिए, यानी कि म्यूचुअल फंड में, स्टॉक्स में, एनीथिंग, ओके, एफडीज में किधर भी जाना चाहिए, वो नहीं जाता है. एंड दैट इज व्हाई you try to get rich fast instead of you can start getting rich early. Okay, so this is what he says. So 74% of the statistics, this is statistics of, if you can Google and say, 74% of the Indian report feeling stressed about money. किसी का भी जॉब चला जाएगा, स्ट्रेस चालू हो गया. किसी के घर में अगर अभी जैसे वी आर हैविंग टैरिफ वॉर्स बिटवीन द कंट्रीज, एवरीबडी इज स्ट्रेस्ड कि क्या होगा. AI आ रहा है, बहुत सारे जॉब्स लूज होने वाले हैं. नाउ वी आर स्ट्रेस्ड. Why have we created this stress is my question. Okay, because we have nobody, neither our parents nor we do the planning for any kind of contingency. Okay, so because they don't create passive income, that's why they are stressed. क्या हमारे घर में 10,000 रुपीज कहाँ से भी आ रहा है क्या एवरी मंथ? कहाँ भी 50,000 आ रहा है क्या? 1 लाख रुपए आ रहा है क्या? मैं कभी भी किससे पूछता हूँ कि what time when you will retire, तो they'll say 55 supposedly. मैं बोला 55 में रिटायर कैसे करोगे? कहाँ से आएगा 2 लाख रुपया पर मंथ आपके पास उस टाइम पे, या 3 लाख रुपीज पर मंथ 20 years बाद कहाँ से आएगा? They don't have an answer. If no money is coming to you in your house right now, okay, then how will it come later also? So this is the irony of the people when we talk about India. Okay, because they don't create a passive income, they are stressed. So what is the practical steps to manage stress? Okay, financial advisor चाहिए आपको लाइफ में, therapist चाहिए, a counselor who specializes in financial issues. अगर तुम्हारे पास वो दोस्त नहीं है जो उसमें आप जिसके साथ आप फाइनेंस के बारे में डिस्कस कर सकते हो, अपने फाइनेंस के बारे में, अपने इंश्योरेंस के बारे में, अपने टर्म इंश्योरेंस के बारे में, तो देयर इज अ बिग प्रॉब्लम. बट दिस फ्रेंड शुड बी एन एडवाइजर एंड नॉट अ जनरल फ्रेंड. ओके, दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम. सो डेट मैनेजिंग स्ट्रेटेजीज, लोगों को डेट लेना आता है, लोगों को घर लेने को आता है ऑन लोन, लेकिन उनको लोन चुकाने को नहीं आता है. ओके, सो हाउ डू आई मैनेज डेट? ओके, मैंने लोन लिया हुआ है, मैं कैसे इसको अपने स्ट्रेस को कैसे कम करूं? सो फर्स्ट थिंग इज, अगर मैंने किसी 2,000 रुपया लिया है, अगर मैंने किसी सम बिल्स आर देयर इन माय सराउंडिंग, किसको 2,000 देना है, 500 देना है, किसी फ्रेंड को 10,000 देना है. सो द रूल सेज इफ यू रिमूव द स्मॉलर डेट्स फर्स्ट, ओके, देन स्ट्रेस कम हो जाता है. आई डू दिस, मैं लिख के रखता हूँ कि लाइट का बिल, ये बिल, वो बिल मंथली, इमीडिएटली फर्स्ट तारीख को आई क्लियर ऑल द थिंग्स दैट आर पेंडिंग. किसी टायर लेना है बाइक के लिए या कुछ भी लेना है, एवरीथिंग आई फिनिश्ड ऑन द फर्स्ट, एंड देन आई डोंट हैव टू थिंक अबाउट द सेकंड ऑफ द मंथ, बिकॉज फर्स्ट थिंग एवरीथिंग गोज आउट. जो पैसा आना है सेकंड तारीख को, मैं whatever your dates could be 5th or it could be 10th, but fix up a day where you finish up all your bills in one day, smaller bills. Now coming back to paying off higher interest debt first to save money over time. So जैसे बैंक लोन लिया हुआ है, there is a way to pay the bank. Okay, if you don't pay for 20 years, तो 20 years का stress papers बैंक के पास पड़े हैं. There is a way to subside. Every year you have to pay a little extra. How you pay extra? That is also another rule. You start investing in mutual funds. Mutual funds will give you 15%. After 4 years, you can start paying from the mutual funds to the bank. So 4 years लगेंगे आपको अगर आप अभी invest करना चालू करोगे. So there is a way to offset the loans that you have taken, even if it's a house loan. Okay. So, and why you should take a house loan is also one important thing that you should take. Okay, because bank loan जो मिल रहा है 9% पे यार मिल रहा है हमको, 8.5% पे मिल रहा है, लेकिन हमको म्यूचुअल फंड 14% दे रहा है. So it's a good idea. I'm not saying not to take. I am saying that there is a way to repay it, but people don't know. People don't consult. They don't have a financial advisor on their, जैसे कि हमारे पास डॉक्टर्स होते हैं to go to when we have fever. We have chartered accountants. We have emotional coaches, doctors. This way you should have a financial advisor also. Okay, so एक बहुत अच्छा अंडरस्टैंडिंग है कि माइंडफुल स्पेंडिंग. ओके, नीड वर्सेस वांट. लोगों को पता ही नहीं है कि ये मेरी नीड है या मेरा वांट है. इफ आई से कि मुझे आईफोन लेना है 16, ओके, सो आई हैव अ 16 प्लस प्रो, ओके, नॉट प्लस बट प्रो, सो द लेटेस्ट फोन. Now, is it a need or is it a want? Okay, mostly it is a want. In some cases it is a need. अगर मैं ये बिजनेस के लिए यूज कर रहा हूँ और मेरे को इस पर रील्स बनाना है तो ये नीड बन जाता है. तो अगर ये मैं उसके लिए खरीद रहा हूँ कि मेरे पास ऑलरेडी आईफोन 13 है और सब लोग खरीद रहे हैं, देन इट बिकम्स अ वांट. सो सेम थिंग, इट कुड बी अ नीड और इट कुड बी अ वांट. हमें लिखना चाहिए कि मेरी ये नीड है या मेरी वांट है. अगर मेरे पास ऑलरेडी 3 शूज है, एक रीबॉक है, एक नाइक है, और उसके बाद भी मेरे को लगता है कि नहीं मेरे को और एक शू चाहिए, इट मीन्स इट इज अ वांट, बिकॉज मेरे को इसकी नीड नहीं है, मेरे पास ऑलरेडी 3 शूज है. सो इफ यू आर नॉट टेकिंग केयर ऑफ द आवर वांट्स, हमारी इच्छाएं ओवर है, ओके, तो वो उसका हम लोग लिस्ट बना सकते हैं कि मेरे को भी क्या नीड है, मुझे क्या वांट है. इस तरह से हम लोग अपना स्पेंडिंग जो है वो कम कर सकते हैं. अगर हमने स्पेंडिंग कम किया तो हमारा सेविंग बढ़ता है. इमीडिएटली वी कैन स्टार्ट अ SIP विद दैट मनी दैट यू हैव सेव्ड. इमीडिएटली जो मैंने अपने वांट को कम किया उसी को मैंने उसको इमीडिएटली SIP में डाल दिया. सो देयर इज अ वे टू हैंडल योर नीड्स एंड वांट. एंड if you don't take care of your wants, then everything will become a need in future. इसका मतलब क्या है कि अगर अभी आपने ओवर स्पेंडिंग करना चालू किया तो इन फ्यूचर आफ्टर when you want to retire, you will not be able to retire because your needs are not getting fulfilled. You will not be able to retire. This is a problem in India. practical mindset spending by evaluation whether purchases are essential or not. So sit with your spouse and say कि क्या खर्चना है. छोटी चीजें खरीद लो ना, ड्रेसेस खरीदना है ले लो, कितने का आएगा 5,000 2,000 रुपीज 5,000 जितना ही है जस्ट. सो अपने छोटे खर्चे जो है वो उसमें स्पेंड करने में फ्लरिशिंग करो, खरीदो, यू नो, बाय योर लिपस्टिक, बाय योर स्किन केयर, आई डोंट केयर. जो छोटी गाड़ी है उसको प्लीज पोस्टपोन करो जितना हो सके. इट्स अ डेप्रिसिएशन एसेट. Buy second-hand cars. Why do you want new cars? I don't understand. I have always bought second-hand cars. At least 3-4 years old car I buy always, and I buy something much more. जिस अगर मेरे को 15 लाख की आज BMW मिलती है तो मैं 15 लाख की BMW ले लेता हूँ, नहीं कि मैं 15 की क्रेटा खरीदूंगा. It's a different way that I know how to handle, you know, the purchases. But I'm just saying that you can minimize your spend buying the same car of a 2-3 years older. Things like that. Okay. When I know कि vacation के लिए मैं बहुत सारी destinations है जहाँ पे बहुत कम खर्चे में काम हो जाता है. Why would I go to an expensive vacation? Okay. Dubai, for that matter, is an expensive vacation. Everything is expensive there. There are so many destinations. So I'm not telling you to kill your desires. I'm just saying that understand how you can save money. Building financial resilience. Surround yourself with knowledgeable people. वो लोग जो बात करते हैं कि स्पेंड कर रहे हैं and you go on spending with them, these are the people you don't associate with. Instead, sit with people who are knowledgeable about all these things. अपना जो बोलते ना, birds or similar feather flock together. If you would sit with your person who always drinks and smokes, the chances of you drinking and smoking is very high. If you sit with fools, you will also become foolish. If you sit with knowledgeable people, you will also become knowledgeable. Okay. Somebody who can give you advice, okay, or emotional support. So जो लोग आपके environment में है, see how learned they are, कितने अक्लमंद है, क्या बातें करते हैं वो, और उनसे मिलो जो लोग काफी अच्छे हैं. Okay, in their thought, mind and in action also. सो प्लानिंग इज अ माइंडसेट. अगर हम लोगों ने प्लान किया ही नहीं है कुछ तो हम लोग को सक्सेस नहीं मिलेगा. हम जो ये देख रहे हैं रोड डेवलपमेंट, एक ब्रिज बन रहा है बॉम्बे में के अराउंड, यहाँ वहाँ, क्या है ये जियो वर्ल्ड आ रहा है, कुछ भी, एक 5 स्टार एक बिल्डिंग है, कुछ भी, या एक बच्चे की एजुकेशन हो. अगर हमने वो प्लान किया ही नहीं है तो होता नहीं है. तो प्लानिंग इज अ माइंडसेट. इफ आई वांट टू रिटायर एट 55, आई हैव टू मेक अ प्लान. प्लान नहीं है तो sorry, you are just dreaming of something which is never going to happen. Now I will talk about really the essential parts of finance. Okay, this is really if you all want to write somewhere, make notes, please make notes, because I am getting now into the field of what you should do in your finance and not. Later on you can call me and ask me about this is what I have said, because I am not going to tell everything in detail. So I am saying that buy or port. Okay, porting is allowed. Medical policy जो तुम्हारी पुरानी है वो बेकार है. Okay, and they are junk, almost like junk. Why? Because the policy has old policy wordings. Okay, latest से latest policy में उसको port करना है हमें. Okay, every 2 years 3 years I port my policy, okay, into the better ones. अगर हम निवो पुपा की बात कर रहे हैं तो उसका पहले रीएश्योर्ड था, फिर रीएश्योर्ड 2.0 है, अभी वो 3.0 होने जा रहा है. अगर हम लोग सिर्फ प्रीमियम भरेंगे तो ये नहीं होने वाला है. सो स्टॉप एंड अंडरस्टैंड बिफोर पेइंग अ प्रीमियम. प्लीज कॉल एन एडवाइजर एंड आस्क अभी की लेटेस्ट पॉलिसी क्या है, उसमें क्या लिखा हुआ है. थिंग्स आर चेंजिंग ड्रास्टिकली इन द medical insurance world. Now you can get out of the hospital paying just 1 rupee. No need to pay so much. Now hospitals bills are passing in 30 minutes. Okay, it's a guideline. So निवो गोपाल बोलता है कि मैं 30 मिनट्स में आपका क्लेम सेटल कर दूंगा. HDFC बोलती है मैं 40 मिनट्स में क्लेम पास कर दूंगी. उसी तरह से केयर बोलती है कि नहीं, टाटा बोलती है कि नहीं, बजाज बोलती है कि नहीं. नहीं लिखा हुआ है उनके पॉलिसी में, तो आपको चेक करना पड़ेगा लिखा है या नहीं लिखा है. Don't go by your agent. Ask 2-3 agents and ask कि तुम क्या बोल रहे हो. उसके बाद डिसीजन लो कि तुम्हें वो चेंज करना है और करना चाहिए. If some company is better, then you should change to a better company. सैफ अली के पास क्यों निवा बुपा है? ओके, बहुत सारे लोग HDFC अर्गो ही क्यों खरीदते हैं? So you should know the answers. Okay. Star Insurance, a loss making company. Why should you have Star? Government policies बिल्कुल उसमें कोई फैसिलिटीज नहीं है, ना एयर एम्बुलेंस है, ना रिफिल बेनिफिट्स है, बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम्स है. सो आपको पता चलना चाहिए कि अगर मैं गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसी ले रहा हूँ तो मुझे क्या प्रॉब्लम्स आने वाले हैं लाइफ में. जो मैं बोल रहा था, ओके, क्या है इसमें? इसमें वो बोलता है कि मैं 10 टाइम्स वो कर दूंगा. 10 लाख की पॉलिसी लोगे अगर मेरे से, तो मैं 10 साल में उसको 1 करोड़ कर दूंगा. HDFC बोलता है मैं 3x दूंगा. 10 लाख की पॉलिसी लोगे, मैं उसको 30 लाख कर दूंगा. ICICI लोम्बार्ड बोलता है कि आपके में से 10 लाख की पॉलिसी लोगे, एवरी ईयर आई विल एड 10 lakhs टू योर पॉलिसी टिल X नंबर ऑफ ईयर्स. 10 लाख की पॉलिसी लो, 20 साल का 2 करोड़ की हो जाएगी, 30 साल का 3 करोड़ हो जाएगी. These are the latest policies of all companies. If you don't know, it is your problem. Nobody has told you. I don't know why. Okay. Niva Bupa is the only company in India which is giving you age lock. इसका मतलब है अगर आप एज 40 हो तो आपको 40 में वो लॉक कर देता है, आप 60 में भी 40 का प्रीमियम भरोगे. अगर एक लड़का 20 साल का है, वो ये पॉलिसी खरीदता है निवा बुपा की और एज लॉक में जाता है, तो वो 50 साल का भी होएगा तो भी वो 20 साल की ही प्रीमियम भरेगा. This happens in only Niva Bupa and not the other companies. So age lock is a very big feature of companies. In Niva Bupa, there is a policy called Aspire, which is for maternity benefits. Okay, even for surrogation, even for adoption, this policy works. Doesn't have to be operation only. Now, in other companies, premium increases every year or every 5 years. Okay. Now, अर्लियर हम लोग बोलते थे कि टर्म प्लान लो. ओके, अभी अगर हमको टर्म प्लान में पैसे वेस्ट नहीं करने हैं तो देयर इज अ प्लान फ्रॉम टाटा कॉल्ड परम रक्षा. मैंने ये सब दिया है, अगर किसी को स्नैपशॉट खींचना तो खींच लो, बिकॉज आई विल गो लिटिल फास्टर. टाटा परम रक्षा बोलता है कि अगर आप प्रीमियम भर रहे हो तो मैं आपको आफ्टर 10 years, इफ यू सी ओवर हियर, दैट आफ्टर 10 years आई विल यहाँ पे आफ्टर 10 years वो 31 लाख हो जाता है. आफ्टर 20 years वो 1 करोड़ 20 लाख आपको देगा. आफ्टर 30 years वो 4 करोड़ हो जाएगा. सो परम रक्षा है जो बोलता है कि मैं आपको पैसे टर्म कवर तो मैं दे ही रहा हूँ, लेकिन मैं आपको रिटर्न बैक भी दूंगा. ओके, और बहुत हाई वैल्यू में. लेकिन अगर संपूर्ण रक्षा हम टाटा की लेते हैं जो कि टर्म प्लान है, मैं 1,40,000 भर रहा हूँ, लेकिन मुझे 1 करोड़ 57 लाख का प्रीमियम कवर मिल रहा है. लेकिन अगर मेरे को 85 क्रॉस किया तो मेरे को कुछ नहीं मिलेगा, सब मेरे पैसे वेस्ट होंगे इन अ टर्म प्लान. बट इन दिस प्लान परम रक्षा, money also grows even after covering you for 1 crore 57 lakhs. So both. So your term is also covered and your money is also growing. So this happens in Param Raksha. So later on you can call me and ask me what is the difference. Okay. And then so what I'm trying to show is here that there is a stock market. Okay. Sorry. So stock market में लोग बोलते हैं कि पैसा रिस्की है, ऊपर नीचे जाता है. But I'm trying to show you in this video that stock market is not risky. It started at the 128 over here. Stock market सिर्फ 128 rupees का जब start हुआ था 2079 में. Okay. Now it grew and became 1200 in after 5 years. So lot of things has happened. Stock market is always okay. I'll just move on to this. Basically, I'm trying to say that stock market is not risky because it has never fallen in the 30-40 years 30 years of the stock market that is there. ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ है कि वो स्टॉक मार्केट कभी गिर गया हो और कभी बढ़ा ही नहीं हो, ऐसा नहीं होता है. सो हाउ वी ओनली द स्टॉक मार्केट इज अप एंड डाउन. द फ्लक्चुएशन बिटवीन टाइम फ्रेम इज हाई. तो कभी कभी वो गिर जाता है, लेकिन वो गिर के वापस उठता है. इवन इन कोविड हैपेंड, इन डिप्रेशन, इन रिसेशन इन 2007 इट हैपेंड. So in many years, it has shown that stock market has always risen. The reason why people put in stock market is because the rate of return in stock market or mutual fund is much more higher than gold also. Gold लोगों को लगता है कि बहुत बढ़ गया है, प्राइस 1 लाख हो गया है. By the way, it is given 14% returns. Even after 30,000 has become 85,000 right now. Okay, 90,000. But still the gold rate is given only 15% returns. Okay, stock market mutual funds have given higher returns than gold also, even till date. So this is called a TVM calculator, time value money. ये क्या बोलता है कि 20,000 रुपीज मैं पर मंथ डालता हूँ और मैं 30 साल के डालता हूँ, तो मेरा जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है वो 11 करोड़ का हो जाता है. सो हियर आई हैव पुट पेमेंट पर मंथ 20,000. आई हैव रिटन एनुअल रेट, आई हैव रिटन 14%, विच इज मतलब पॉसिबल है. और ये मैंने 30 ईयर्स डाल दिया, यानी कि 360 मंथ डाला है. एंड हियर आई कैन सी द कैलकुलेटर शोइंग मी द फिगर दैट इट कैन बिकम 11 crores. ओके, दैट इज व्हाई द होल वर्ल्ड इज बिहाइंड द म्यूचुअल फंड्स. म्यूचुअल फंड सही है, सही है, सही करके सब बोलते जा रहे हैं, राइट? Indians didn't understand this. Now even the villages are doing. Auto wala bhi kar raha hai mutual funds, okay? Because I sit with people and talk on the phone and they hear. So this is the power of compounding, that it can become 11 crores, only 20,000. Supposing मैं सिर्फ 5,000 डाल रहा हूँ, okay? और मैं वापस 30 years के लिए डाल रहा हूँ सिर्फ 5,000 rupees, okay? 30 years तक मैं 5,000 ही डाल रहा हूँ. Then also my corpus will become 3 crores. Okay, which is good for my retirement. तो आराम से 30 years के बाद मैं अच्छी तरह से रिटायर भी कर सकता हूँ. ऑल हैव टू डू इज स्टेप अप. 5,000 के बाद मैं 7,000 करूंगा कुछ 5 सालों के, और कुछ सालों के 10,000 कर दूंगा. देन आई विल हैव अ 6 crore kitty in my hand. Not a problem. Now color blind test is when we go to the eye checkup and we say कि वो दिखाता है कि ये रेड ग्रीन दिख रहा है कि नहीं, बरोबर दिख रहा है कि नहीं, इवन कलर दिख रहा है कि नहीं. This is what the optician sees. Okay, now this is the problem. When we go to a spiritual healer, we don't go to a doctor for spiritual healing. वो बोलेगा मेरे पास क्यों आए हो, मेरे पास अगर बुखार है तो मेरे पास आओ, स्पिरिचुअल हीलिंग के लिए मेरे पास मत आओ. अगर कैरियर का काउंसलिंग चाहिए तो आप केमिस्ट के पास जाओगे क्या? नहीं जाओगे, राइट? फॉर फाइलिंग इनकम टैक्स यू हैव टू गो टू अ स्टार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, नॉट अ स्किन स्पेशलिस्ट. बट हम लोग करते क्या है इन रियल लाइफ, करते क्या है हम लोग? फॉर फाइनेंशियल गाइडेंस डोंट आस्क whom? Your best friend, please don't ask him. Your boss, please don't ask him also. Your husband, please don't ask him also. Your colleague, don't ask him also. जब हम ये सब रेड में जो हम फॉलो कर रहे हैं तो हमको ग्रीन में फॉलो करने का क्या प्रॉब्लम है? Why are we asking your husband also, who is not a financial advisor, for advice on investments? He is not. He is into some other thing. He may be a banker also, for that matter. I don't care. But he is not a financial advisor. Okay, so I am just saying that whomever it is, you have to ask a financial advisor. Don't ask the wrong people. So this ends up the PPT, and thank you so much for watching. So when I showed the four corners, which is trying to say that when you have a financial advisor with you, all your four corners are covered. Like a table is there, उसको 4 legs होती हैं, तो एक खड़ा रहता है बरोबर, एक लेग भी टूट गई तो गिर जाएगा. So that is why Finance with Ajay covers you the all the 4 legs of the investments. So thank you so much for listening, and if you have questions, please ask later. Thank you so much. Yeah, sure. Please go ahead. So everybody invests in the share market or mutual funds for a long time horizon. Mainly उनका 4-5 साल का horizon रहता ही है. सो हिस्ट्री और डेटा ये बोलता है कि स्टॉक मार्केट विल गो अप. ओके, जो सेंसेक्स आज 75,000 में पड़ा हुआ है, इट विल गो अप टू 1 lakh and 1,50,000 ऑल्सो. सो देयर इज नो नीड टू वरी अबाउट इट. लास्ट 1 week में पूरा रिकवरी हो चुका है. जो ट्रम्प ने मैसेज दिया था ऑफ ये वॉर, दिस थिंग, ट्रेड वॉर, उसका इफेक्ट जो है वो एक हफ्ते में ही खत्म हो गया. इट इज risen, the market has risen in 1 week only. The Nifty has risen so much. So there's nothing to panic. People do panic unnecessarily. But there's one thing that people do wrong, and that is timing. जब मार्केट ऊपर चढ़ रहा होता है तभी वो लोग अंदर घुसने की कोशिश करते हैं. दैट इज द मिस्टेक. सो वी से दैट डू नॉट स्टेप ऑन अ गैलपिंग हॉर्स. मतलब एक भागते हुए घोड़े पे नहीं चढ़ो. ओके, सो वेट फॉर द मार्केट टू करेक्ट एंड दैट इज द टाइम टू एंटर. सो दैट इज वाई यू नीड अ फाइनेंशियल एडवाइजर जो आपको बताएगा कि भाई ये टाइम एंटर करना है, नहीं करना है, या स्लो एंटर करना है. पूरा पैसे लेके मत मत घुसो अंदर, प्रॉब्लम में आओगे. Yeah. Manan is asking, can we reach out to him? So you can take down my number right now. Only just write down. It's 93 2233 8575. Can you put it on the chat box? Yeah, I'll also type it and send it.
Thank you, Khyati. Thank you, Ajay, for the wonderful presentation. It was really eye opening regarding the medical policies. I think because in spite of being a CA, I think I am still stuck to my old medical insurance policies. So I shall also connect to you after this for that
Sure.
at least. Having said that, hello everyone. I am Gita Mansukhani. As Khyati said, I'm a chartered accountant, but currently I'm into emotional and mental well-being. So today I'm going to talk about batch flower remedies and EFT, emotional freedom technique, or known as tapping technique. How these two techniques would help you come out any emotional imbalances that you may face in taking any financial decisions or any personal decisions for that matter. So, like you all would wonder, we learned about insurance, we learned about savings, and we learned about even health insurance. So, what has emotions got to do with this? So just to give you a glimpse, and I'll start with my presentation in the interest of time. While I'm changing the screen to that, can any of you all think what kind of emotions would really impact our decision making when we have to think about our finances?
Fear and greed.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like Ajay is saying, there is fear and greed. There is indeed a bigger list to this. And let me just get my presentation here. Yeah, is this visible for everyone? Okay, thanks Ajay for the heads up. Yeah. So we are talking about what kind of emotions would impact us, in taking our financial decisions or would impact our finances as such. Fear is what Ajay mentioned. Fear, greed, anxiety. I'm reading it aloud and faster because most of us is even known and common. So there's fear, there's stress, anxiety, greed. There could be excitement, overconfidence, lack of confidence at the same time, lack of self trust. Like as Ajay mentioned, when there was a dip in the market, people were exiting instead of staying put because of lack of confidence or self trust, even because of opacity. Sorry, it is on the slideshow, Khyati. One sec. Yeah, it's better. Sorry, I think I missed it. Yeah, so these are basically the emotions that I'm talking about. Just a glimpse of all kinds of emotions. And generally, what would be the strategies if you all don't, seek any kind of emotional or mental help? The strategies that you all could use for your own self could be pause before you make any decision. You analyze whether the decision is really required. As Ajay mentioned, you could even set financial goals. What is it that you really need, and how much of it is what you need? You could also do an automation like an SIP. And finally, if these things are not helping, you could seek an advice from the financial advisor. I think after Ajay's presentation, I think the chronology will completely go reverse. First is to seek financial advice, and then you can tell the advisor to help you with the other things. Now, having said, after we meet Ajay, we still have some kind of emotions which are engraved within us. And how could I help you, or how could these batch flower remedies help you to balance those emotions? So, batch flower remedies are basically natural flower essences. These are flower based remedies, and these are similar to homeopathy. It's a set of 38 remedies, and these come from the UK. So, it was invented by Dr. Edward Bach in UK, and these remedies are here to help us on our emotional and psychological level. They are here to release our emotional imbalances. Now, this was the theory bit. If anyone has not heard, we'll come directly to the case studies, because here's how it can get more connecting and interesting to you. So I'll talk to you about one of my clients, Mrs. Kalra, who just came to me with a terrible headache. So she knew I am into emotional healing. I have nothing to do with your physical symptoms or pains, but she told me I'm having a terrible headache and I've not been able to sleep. When we sat down for a discussion, she revealed that she was staying in a rented apartment, and the owner had refused to put further the lease. He wanted them to vacate the house, and there was a very less time that they had on hand. So her husband was really keen on buying a new house because it was an item of their to-do list since a long time. But Mrs. Kalra was really worried, and she was not sure whether it was the right thing to do at that point of time. Also, what was bothering her was shifting whether into an own house or a rented house was something that was bothering her, because it was too much to do. Also, the time was very less. Besides, if they buy a house, that would entail a financial burden of a home loan, and also wiping off of her savings. So she was having a constant mental argument and talk in her mind, because the time being less, the expense being more, the decision whether it's a buying a house or renting a house. So while she went to the financial advisor, all of this was running in her mind, and therefore she was not able to sleep, and also that had caused a headache to her. So in this case, I would suggest you to understand how Bach flower would help, because these things, a crocin or a combiflam may not really help you for a long run. Yes, crocin will bring down your headache, but morning again you're into the same chattering, because the situation is very much the same. So let's see how Bach flower can help, and let's see what kind of emotional patterns she was feeling. So the first and foremost was a specific fear about the financial burden, the loan, and the savings going away. The second would be the feeling of overwhelmedness, because she was really worried and stressed because of the time tax situation, and also because of a very big decision. There was an unknown fear, in spite of knowing that they have to shift, and they have to buy a house because it's a pending item. She had some kind of an unknown fear. When I asked her what is the fear, she couldn't name that. Then there was an uncertainty between whether to buy or to rent. So yeah, this is an uncertainty issue for which also a Bachflower remedy is available. Lastly, there was a non-stop mental chatter which was causing the sleepless night. So all of these remedies, a mix can help you calm down, come to a composed state of mind, and then probably, come to a logical decision. Anyone, any questions so far? Okay, I'll just move ahead, and I'll go on to the second case study. There was another client of mine, Shaira, who's a lawyer, and she's doing really well for herself. But she came up feeling very low and sad because of the constant fights and issues at home. When we discussed, we understood the reasons of fights were again finances, which was impacting her work, and she was losing focus and confidence in her work, and even track of her cases. Uh, off lately, what she was doing was seeking only adjournments, sending her staff to get dates, dealing her hearings. At times, she was pushing away her client meetings, and she thought she really could not handle this anymore. When I asked her, why are your finances, bothering you so much? She said it is because of two things. One, her dad being an old school person, he wanted her to pick up, investment in FDs or PPF, buy gold, pick up an LIC. Whereas all her friends were doing something completely reverse. They were investing in share markets, mutual funds, gold bonds instead of buying gold, and they were investing in modern day insurances. So she was stuck between these two and she kept delaying her investments. This was resulting into her arguments with her dad and her family. And then to solve this, she was keen on meeting a financial advisor. She, in fact, even took an appointment and she thought that would be the best thing to do. But something struck her and she took her advice of her friend because probably she was not trusting her own self whether it's the right thing to do. And these financial advisors will have a fee. Her father might tell her, why didn't you just go and do what I said? So she was not confident on her own decision. And this aggravated the fight day in, day out, and she felt like just giving it up all over and probably applying for a job. So when she came to me, yes, it is a complete finance driven situation, but what she was going through is a depression. I'm not talking about the degree, it was an extremely mild degree of depression. Not that she was not working or she had given up, she just had thoughts of giving up because of feeling low and sad, and the fights, the lack of focus on her work, and even the non-stop crying that she was feeling whenever she went home. There was lack of self-trust. So a voice within her told her, let's meet a financial advisor. She took an appointment, but she didn't turn up because she was not able to trust herself that I have taken the right decision of meeting the financial advisor. All of this entailed procrastination because she was just dealing and the funds were just lying in her savings account, giving her barely any interest. And lastly, she was lacking her confidence because she felt like giving up her matters at a professional level. She started taking adjournments, pushing client meetings. So while you decide what you really want to do on financial level something, how can you bring your emotional state of mind to calmness? जब यहाँ पे स्थिरता आएगी, when you will be calm and composed is when you will be able to handle situation better. And therefore these bark flower remedies come handy. And the biggest thing is these have no side effects. They won't put you to sleep like the other, drugs that we have in the market. Also, for most of our issues, we don't have drugs over the market or over the counter. There is no medicine for procrastination or lack of confidence. Yes, you might get something for depression, but this is being a very mild depression. I don't think it was required for her to go to a, professional doctor for seeking those high degree depression medicines. So this is how emotions really impact us, and this is what we can do when we are using bark flower remedies to calm ourselves down, to bring us to a state of equilibrium of mental and emotional state, and then take the right decision. Now, these remedies are not like crocin that you take a remedy and you're out of fever for the next day. As I said earlier, these are similar to homeopathy. So you have to take these remedies probably for a week, a 2 week thing, or depending on how deep engraved the issue or the emotion really is. Some of issues can even be a type emotion, like someone who's having lack of confidence since a very long time now may probably have to take remedy for a long time. But someone like Shaira who's just feeling lack of confidence now, the remedy for 1 week would be more than enough to get her out of the situation. Moving ahead, this is a friend of mine who had come up to me and she was discussing that she was going through a tough financial phase because she had lost all her money and savings there. She is a housewife, but she kept doing small businesses from her house, and she lost all her money one after the other because her businesses failed one after the other. She also simultaneously made loss in stock market because she exited when the share market fell. Of course, there was a correction, but she did not wait. She just hastily exited. She was upset that nothing was going good in her life because of this, and she thought she won't try anything else. She'll just continue to be a housewife. So she had completely given up. Now her husband had observed this, and he would give her, suggestions to meet someone who would suggest her how to make investments and how to be careful in the future. Even her mom had suggested and warned her that a couple of businesses she had started would maybe cause losses to her and were not the real good options. But she was really strong willed, and she preferred that what she decides is going to be what she's going to do. She really never paid a heed to someone else's advices and suggestions. Now, because all of this, she started shopping online, and that was random shopping. Now, because she had no money, she was just splurging on credit cards of her husband and doing also. The first one being evaluate or analyze whether what you're doing is really good for you or no. And you probably end up into the same mistakes again and again. Just diverting little bit from the topic, this remedy is not necessarily a financial remedy. People even do repeated mistakes in their personal life and otherwise. So all of these emotions are certainly helpful in finance, but may also be helpful in our personal life, because even there we are, I've seen people who are doing repeated mistakes, going through breakups again and again, for example. So, coming back to the case, she was doing repeated mistakes. She had failure of business one after the other. Then there was a pattern of setback because she thought that she should give up and not try anything. Here, you've gone through something and there is a loss or there is a failure. So, there is a setback and you don't want to do it again. This is a very common thing. Now, nowadays, there are so many people coming up with startups, and I know a couple of them who had a wonderful idea. They started, but it did not fructify and it did not grow. So they just gave up because यार past में ऐसा हुआ था. I don't think I'm capable, so let me just get back to my job. एक setback आ जाता है and then they lose कि नहीं मुझसे नहीं होगा. So if there is a setback and they give up on doing something, so there is a remedy for that. Besides, there is a remedy for being strong-willed. Originally, how we used to say stubborn. When one person is being stubborn, उसको सिर्फ वही करना है जो उसको सही लगता है. It's either my way or highway. So being strong-willed is absolutely nice. Being determined is very, very nice. But if someone is suggesting you something, you should at least pay a heed to it. Try and understand from what point of view the other person is coming. Maybe sometimes you can go wrong. So I'm not saying you should go by others' advice. No, never. But probably you could at least listen and understand, evaluate, then take a decision. So there is something for this stubborn attitude as well in bark flower remedies. And there is something for impulsiveness. Shopping without deciding. This is a very common thing in women. Anything goes wrong, most of us, I included myself also in this, if anything goes wrong, most of us will like, chalo yaar, let's go for a shopping and I'll feel good. So this is an impulsive thing. Shopping is not bad, we all do it, but if I go and impulsively shop for say 50,000, 1 lakh rupee, probably that is not a sane decision too. So, for all of these patterns, we have bark flower remedies, and those remedies can help you to attain a equilibrium of your emotions. Anyone, any questions so far? Okay, we'll just move ahead. There are more case laws or more. I don't know if we have the time to do it, but let me just tell you the remedies for what we can work on. There is something for perfectionism. This lady Prema, she had obtained multiple certificates and degrees of various courses that she had done, but she was not practically getting into any profession even after those degrees or certificates. Why? Because she felt she's not perfect, she's not Amir Khan, and because of perfectionism she was just delaying. So yes, sometimes what happens is we delay the action just because of feeling that we are not good enough or we are not perfect. uh, Having said that, what I would feel is most of us have some or the other imperfection. No one here is perfect. So dealing an action, dealing a career, dealing a financial decision just because of feeling you're not perfect is not something which is, an emotional perfect state of being. Therefore, there is a remedy for that. Fear. There were some things which she didn't knew. I'll just read that particular point over here. Prema was not tech savvy. It's the second last bullet. Also, she was neither tech savvy nor she used social media posting. So she felt it was too hard and it was not her cup of tea. There is a specific fear which for which there is a remedy. There is a lack of confidence. She was dealing in spite of knowing, and there was a procrastination. Procrastination clearly there is there because she, as I told you earlier, she would obtain multiple degrees, but she wasn't doing anything. The last case study being Jyoti, who's a housewife for a decade. She's an MBA, had a wonderful career before she took a long sabbatical. She has a daughter who's a grown up girl, and everyone around her was advising her to get back to working. This lady is lovely. She's really talented and beautiful, So she's taking this sabbatical, or even during the sabbatical, she learned multiple things like astrology. She loves to write, has a blog of her own. She loves to paint and bake. She's in her late 30s and she feels lost in life. She really wants to get back and do something, but she's at that point of life there where she feels and she knows that she is capable, but she's not sure what the right part would be in her life. So she was looking for a purpose of life and she was feeling lost. So sometimes she even felt that, her old job days were better and now it's probably too late to try anything. And this has been her story where she's dealing, taking any action for the past 2 years, just missing her old job days. The remedies here that I could suggest for her were lack of direction or lack of purpose in life. In spite of being talented and good at so many things, she's done a master's in astrology, but she was still feeling lost in direction. Whether to get back to MBA, to do a baking thing, or continue the blog writing, or get into the astrology, she was completely lost and there was a lack of direction in her life. So there's one remedy for that, and the other remedy being stuck in past memories. So out of the conversation that we have had, like 70% of the time she kept on talking about her past days, that my job days were better, this was there, my package was like this, my boss was like this, and so on and so forth. So she was stuck somewhere in the past. Now, being stuck in the past may be good or bad. You can get stuck in your bad memories of the past and not take an action, or you can get stuck in the good memories of the past and yet not take an action. So there is a remedy for both the situations, because what we really need to understand is how we need to be mindful. Mindful means living in the now. So unless you're in the now, you may not be able to take any decision, be it financial or any kind of personal decision also. So she was stuck in the past. Like again, as Ajay said, I could quote something like, किसी ने past में कुछ experience कर लिया है, like a failure in a stock market or a big loss in any business or something. They are not willing to come out of that situation. They're saying, no यार मेरे साथ ऐसा हो गया, I can't do this. So one, there is a fear कि मेरे साथ ऐसा हो गया तो अब नहीं होगा. And second, they will only keep talking about the past. This happened, that happened, ऐसा था, वैसा था, good or bad, whatever it is, but they are not living in the present. So what bar flower really does is it calms your mind down. It helps you to travel from the past to the present and be in today, so that you can take necessary actions what are required for your life. Likewise, there are many other remedies, because there are 38 different remedies which are there for addressing various emotions that we have. But one remedy can be used for more than one emotion also, but it's a big combination, and it's a little complicated on how The mix is prepared. Consuming the bach flower is a very easy thing. How do you use a bach flower? You can meet a bach flower therapist and discuss your issues. Please be honest and open, because when you go to a doctor, you do not say, I'm feeling well, whereas you know something is really wrong within you. So you need to be open, you need to be free, and you need to be prepared to come out of the current situation. If you like victimhood, this healing is not for you. But if you want a transformation, you want to be in your present, you want to be a happy person, you want to be a balanced emotional person, certainly Bach flower can help you. Technically, how it works is a therapist would prepare a personal mix for you, which would be a combination of 4 to 7 remedies depending on your specific emotional issues. Bach flower remedies are used like an onion in the layman's example. So you go to the therapist and you will probably tell him something which is only superficial, the upper layer. And every meeting when you go, the upper layer will get peeled off, and eventually you may even come to your root cause. So I am not saying the Bach-flower therapist will you know pounce on you and try and dip deep inside. Whatever you're prepared. So today, if you're feeling lack of confidence, the remedy will be for lack of confidence. It works like an onion layer. The remedies will be given that way. He'll give you a tincture bottle, and you have to take 4 drops 4 times a day. It works very gently over a period of time, which doesn't mean it takes years. It takes minimum 7 to 14 days to show effect if you are consistent and regular. And besides, what you could do is also journal. Because when you're journaling, when you're writing down, either be it a laptop or a tab or a pen and paper, whatever you're comfortable with, you're venting out and you're releasing your emotions. You're coming to the present situation, and that will also help you feel better. So this is how Bach flower, my friends, can help you all to achieve, a mental equilibrium of balanced emotions. Any questions on Bach flower?
So Gita, great knowledge, great insight. हाउ इज इट पॉसिबल कि किसी ने अपनी लाइफ जी हो और उसके पास पास्ट मेमोरीज नहीं हो, ओके, एंड हाउ इज इट पॉसिबल कि we don't dwell in our past. We all have some emotional baggage that we are carrying, some emotional things that have, and which is shaping us today also. जो past experience,
Absolutely.
जो
So
past,
learning from the past, having a baggage of the past, and evolving from the past is wonderful. But staying in the past,
हम्म,
not taking any action because you're in the past.
नहीं, बट वही वही बोल रहा हूँ कि हमारे बहुत सारे एक्शंस ऐसे हैं जो पास की वजह से हम लोग नहीं करते हैं. इट कुड बी प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन, ओके,
Yeah, so you need to get out of it, no?
या
You really don't want to get procrastination.
आई एम सेइंग दैट एवरीबॉडी हैज समथिंग व्हिच इज स्टॉपिंग देम फ्रॉम देयर ग्रोथ.
So, you know what Dr. Edward Bach says? Bach flower is like a first aid kit. It should be in everyone's house because the fear is normal. So I see a lizard and I'm frightened. I get panic attacks. So what do? I take a crocin? No, but there is something for panic, in Bach flower. So Dr. Edward Bach, he's from UK, and these remedies were invented in the early 1900s, 1930, if I'm not too wrong. Yes, it's 1930, and he believed that Bach flower kit is something like a first aid kit which you should have at home, because emotions are normal to every being. But how our emotions impact us, that is more important.
Okay.
If our
Acha,
emotions are not impacting us and helping us in a positive way, we need to correct it.
Okay.
There is no harm.
Okay. So Darshi and Shivani, do you have any questions to Geeta or to me? You can open the mic.
I mean, I'm not very clear on what is this BFA technique. To me, it sounded more like an NLP kind of approach towards the emotional block that a person has. But you also talked about some drops. So could you clarify it a bit? Is it is it a allopathic solution plus an emotional kind of NLP kind of solution? What exactly is it?
So it's to answer your question, it is not allopathy. It is similar to homeopathy. There are 38 different we have to consume these liquid in a tincture bottle only. So it's something that I have to consume. It's similar to homeopathy because it's safe, it has no side effects, and it works wonderfully and subtly in your emotional being. It is not like NLP. Of course, when you're coming for a counseling or a session or a therapy thing, since you're talking and we are discussing, NLP modality per se can be, imbibed in it. But when I give you a bark flower mix, that is something like your homeopathy drops, which you have to consume.
Okay.
But
So
how
that
can
Yes.
a drop take me out of my past? That's what is.
it won't take you out of the past. The past will very well be there. It will get you to present. The past is going to be there. The mental chatter will be there, but the time will come back. You will come to your present very sooner than later. So when Dr. Edward Bach invented this, his first experiment or his first trial were the victims of the war survivors. And Dr. Edward Bart was an allopath, he was an homeopath, and then is when he invented Bach flower, because he saw these allopathy medicines, the same medicines were given to patients of similar illnesses, but some people recovered very soon and some people took lot of time to recover. Why does that happen? Sometimes you lose willpower, you just want to be in that victimhood. Mere saath ye ho gaya. Sometimes they were in the shock and trauma of the war, they were depressed, they did not want to come back, they had lost friends and colleagues, they were in the depression of that. So it's bar flower. What it does is the issues will remain as it is. Nothing will change. You know. So if I've had a argument at my home, I go out shopping and I come back. So the argument still happened, right? What did the shopping do? It just pepped me up. Now this is what bark flower does. It is not a shopping thing. It will pep you up in a way that you're calm and composed. And because you're taking this consistently, next time when an argument happens, you won't probably react. You will respond. You will
Yes.
be at a calm state because you are taking something. Okay, bark flower remedies are given in cases of ADHD. They're given to toddlers, in even kids, even to pets. They're given to senior citizens also. Someone who's had a fall, is in a state of shock. Someone who's really unwell doesn't want to come back. It's given to people who are going for interviews. So a friend of mine had applied for a job and she got the interview date thankfully, which was a week ahead, and she was having so many jitters and so much of fear, anxiety was there. So,
Understood.
just coming to my profession, I'm a CA. I have worked as a CA since for more than 12 years, not since, sorry. And, this fraternity is perhaps, I feel, the most stressed fraternity if they are working for, um, the big fours or something like that, because we have non-stop deadlines, we have endless clients and deliverables. How do you come out of it? So if I have a stressful meeting, what will I do? And these are really really effective remedies.
Okay. Any more questions? Any
Yeah, I would be happy to answer if there are more questions after the session, or maybe even one to one, whatever is convenient, because just we are lacking time right now and I have
Yeah.
to cover one more technique or modality that I use for emotional balance, and that is known as the emotional freedom technique or a tapping technique. Now, emotional freedom technique is a technique which is a combination of using our energy, our own body's energy, and the science of psychology. Everyone would know that we are all made up of energy, something that we learned in school. Energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be converted, and everything within us is energy. So, if I enter someone's house, sometimes I may feel good. Sometimes, if I go to some temple, I would feel elated and really nice. If I go to a relative's house, maybe जिसके साथ मेरा नहीं जमता, I might not feel good. अब वहाँ पे ऐसा क्या है to feel good, feel elated or feel bad? It is the energy or the vibe. So EFT works on the energy level, and on the scientific level, it works on the psychology. How does it work? I'm going a little quicker, please. Yeah. What do we do in EFT? We tap. When we are tapping, we are sending calming sensations to our mind, which is the amygdala part of the mind. What is amygdala? It's the survival part of the mind. In olden days, the human beings do only two things: fight or flight. So it works on that mechanism. and it sends it sends calming sensations to our mind. Again, what EFT can do is it can release all our emotional blockages, beliefs, fears, and help us to come to the current situation, which is a peaceful state of mind. It works on the neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity means the mind's ability to rewire itself, the subconscious thing basically. So if we have a subconscious belief, बचपन से यही सुना यार कि बिजनेस इजी नहीं है या पैर उतनी फैलाओ जितनी चादर है, जैसे अजय जी ने बोला, या इट्स नॉट इजी टू मेक मनी, देयर इज टू मच ऑफ हार्ड वर्क इन्वॉल्व. सो कुछ बिलीव्स ऐसे होते हैं जो हमारे साथ रह जाते हैं. Unless I go ahead and try and expand my horizon, how will I grow? पैर उतनी ही फैलाओ जितने चादर है, तो ऐसे तो पुअर कम्युनिटी विल रिमेन पुअर, मिडिल क्लास विल रिमेन मिडिल क्लास, एंड द रिच विल कीप ऑन ग्रोइंग रिच. बट इफ यू सी टुडे देयर आर ऑटो रिक्शा वालों के बच्चे डॉक्टर्स सीएस बन रहे हैं. हाउ इज दैट पॉसिबल? बिकॉज दे आर going out of the box, they're going out of what the current situation is. So that is what EFT does. It helps you break your patterns and beliefs. EFT is not like bath flower. There are no drops, there's no consumption. EFT is a tapping technique where we don't suppress or ignore our negative emotions. We in fact release them by saying it aloud, and we release all our fears, old patterns, limiting beliefs, and that's how we come to a transformation. Now, in EFT, in the beginning, I mentioned there are 8 meridian points in our body that we tap upon and say out phrases out. What do we say out is our current negative beliefs or negative state of mind, and then are prepared for a transformation. EFT is a very simple, again it's like a first aid, because यहाँ पे तो कुछ आपको consume भी नहीं करना है. You just have to be available for yourself with your body. It's very simple, liberating, and extremely powerful tool, whether you believe it or not. So I have also learned Reiki, and the principle of Reiki is I can do Reiki to someone else where I have the other person's permission to do it. But in EFT, I could do an EFT for someone else even without having his or her permission. So if my daughter is having some issue, I could just do a surrogate EFT for her. Now, how does on what EFT can help? Same, the similar patterns we discussed in Barflower on procrastination, CV, updation, or something. The same example I'm giving you of my friend who went for a job. She did take Bach flower, but on the day of the interview, while she was traveling from her home to the destination in the cab, she did EFT only for 10 minutes, and she did her interview superbly well. I am not saying only EFT works. Yes, you need to have the skills, you need to have the degrees, and you need to have the aptitude for it. But what is required is a calm state of mind, a composed and a balanced state of mind. If you're nervous, if you're fidgety, if you're jittery, you might not even be able to speak, which is okay. I'm not saying that's not okay. But if you have something as a tool available with you where you can use and you can feel better, why not try it out? So EFT helps in procrastination. It helps in overcoming fears, past memories, coming out of limiting beliefs like taking risk is only for rich people, stock market is not safe, it's not easy, and one should be happy with what you have. EFT also helps in overcoming something like maybe I should ask someone else, lack of self trust, or lack of perfectionism. So EFT helps in getting you to your being able to believe in your own self and your own capabilities. How does EFT work? You meet an EFT therapist, you describe the issue, let him or her understand the issue. He will take an intensity of the issue, and we go on a karate chop. What is a karate chop? If everyone can see my hand, this area is called the karate chop, and here is where I would tap my beginning. I would say, even though I have this procrastination, I know I need to upgrade my medical insurance as Ajay suggested, but I'm not doing it. Still, I choose to love and accept myself. Even though I know I'm too lazy and I keep procrastinating things, I still choose to love and accept it. So, this is our karate chop, or the beginning point of EFT, where I say the current issue. I say, even though whatever my negative issue is, whether it is procrastination, lack of confidence, or lack of self trust, it works on pains also, my friends. So, if you have a physical pain, a neck pain, a headache, or whatever, just say that And you can say, even though I have this headache, I choose to love and accept myself completely. After we are done with the karate chop, we come to the 8 meridian points of our body. And during these 8 meridian points, while we are tapping, we say the current negative emotional state of our mind and we release it in its entirety. जो भी आपका है, जितना भी आपका negative feeling है, you need to vent it out in its entirety. Assume like you're meeting a friend and you're describing यार ऐसा हुआ वैसा हुआ. For example, वो शायरा का केस था where she would, going through a fight at her home with her dad. She would tap on all the negative emotions that this happened with my dad, he is not understanding me, I'm going through this, my friends are suggesting this, my clients are there, I'm not able to focus, I'm feeling jittery. Whatever comes to your mind, you have to empty the garbage or empty the feelings out. And you're tapping of round 1. And when you release it all, how do you feel? सब जब खाली कर दिया is probably you will feel a little better. So this is when you experience, you will understand. Once you've emptied the entire set of negative emotions, you might be prepared for a hope and bridge for a positive round. कि चलो अब हो गया, I had the fight with my dad, I had this situation, I have not invested money, now what? So round 2 comes to, I need to get out of this situation, I need to sort out my finances, I cannot continue doing this way, my professional degree will go for a waste and my relationship with my dad is also not getting better, I don't want to stay stuck in this situation, I really need to come out of this for my own betterment. At round 2, we build a bridge or a hope from transitioning from a negative state to the positive state. And at round 3, we build a positive or an affirmative bridge where we are trying to explain that we ourselves are capable of taking the right action at the right time. Shaira is a lawyer. She cleared her law exam. She started her own practice. She had clients. She earned the money. Therefore, she's talking about finances, right? So when she's capable of clearing her law exam and she's capable of having clients, when she's capable of earning that money, what is stopping her from making the investment decision? Yes, for now she's feeling stuck, but she should be having that self trust that I can do it. मैं कर सकती हूँ. I will discuss with my dad. I will understand his point of view, and maybe I will go to the financial advisor along with my dad and understand. Or maybe I will get my friends home and have a meeting with my dad and my friends, and maybe he's willing to understand. So at the round level 3 of EFT, we bring a positive or an affirmative phase where we say, I have done so much in the past and I'm capable enough to handle this situation and come out of it. And at round 3, what we are trying to understand, what would be the possible solutions. So we've all been to school and colleges, and one thing in life we would have learned even out of our life experience is there is no problem which doesn't have a solution. Every problem has multiple solutions. All we need to do is tap and reach to that solution and take action towards the solution, not stay put there. After we've done all of this, we could take intensity and see how the client is feeling better. The idea of EFT is to bring the intensity from a grade of 9 or 10 to 0 at a state of calmness and composed mind. EFT works instantly. It doesn't take weeks like how Bach flower does. But yes, when you're with a therapist, आपने must counseling session कर ली and you're committed कि मैं ये करूँगी, मैं वो करूँगी, okay, I'll go and talk to my dad. And once you're back home, square one, father का face दिखा and like, oh यार, फिर से I don't want to do it. And you don't take any action. You're back to your procrastination. So what you can do is then use your Bach flower or do an EFT session on your own at home with yourself, or go back to the therapist again, because even a normal fever takes time. You don't probably get well in one dose. So if it's an issue